welcome back to another episode of Keeping It Real Estate, where we have real people telling us their real stories and just keeping it real with me. We got the lady builder, Miss Erica, in the house. Thank you.
Haile Alexis.
Erica Alexis. Yo, it's about to be a dope episode. I have been looking for somebody like this for a minute. Like, the things that you are accomplishing and going after and just your mindset is everything that we need. Seriously. Like, you've inspired me already just talking off camera. I'm like, I gotta go. I gotta keep going.
Get it to the next
I gotta,
level.
yes. All right, so let's jump into it. I usually do an icebreaker, but y'all, we done broke the ice. Okay?
Yes,
We here. Okay? So, but I will, just so it's entertaining to some people, just to get us to know, just to get to know us better.
Okay.
Let's go ahead and do what I normally do, which is our 2 lies and a truth.
2 lies and the truth.
Yeah.
All right. 2 lies and the truth. I have a street named after my family in Oakland, California.
Okay.
I got married in a drive-thru in Las Vegas.
Yikes.
I slept overnight in a subway station in London.
Okay. I'm going to say, I can't see you sleeping in a subway station. That somebody was going to come out the pocket for a hotel. Okay. I just can't see that. You will eventually have a street named after you, after your family. And then, oh, God, hold up. Married? Nah, hold on. Let me back up some. Let me back up. London. All right, maybe I'll go with that one because shit happens. I can't see you getting married through a drive-thru. That just don't make sense.
Which one?
I'm gonna say you slept in a yeah. you got stranded. It happens to the best of us.
All right. So I slept in a subway station in Edinburgh.
Wow.
I traveled after college. I traveled for 2 years backpacking.
Okay. Whoa.
And I missed the last train that night, and there was no hotel in sight. So I did sleep in a subway station.
Wow.
But it was not in London. It was in Edinburgh, Scotland.
Wait. You backpacked?
Yeah, a backpack. It was a unique backpack situation. My mother, she took me to an international sports camp. I ran track.
That's some white
She
people
took me
shit.
to an international sports
You know that, right? That's some white people shit. I'm just saying.
And I was hanging out with them at this time. I knew it. She took me to an international sports camp in upper state New York.
Okay.
And I met international counselors from all over the world. When I went to UCLA, she basically said, hey, I made friends with everybody. And I said, I'm going to travel and see you one day.
Wow.
I wrote down all the friends from all the states. There was an around-the-world trip ticket experience at UCLA for $3,000. My graduate party, I saved up that $3,000, and I was like, I'm out. So, yeah, I did sleep in a subway station in
Oh my God.
in England, yes. I mean, in Scotland, yes.
That's amazing. I'm still stuck on the fact that you wrote it down and said that you were going to visit everybody. And it
I
happened.
kept in touch with everybody. And when I did the around the world trip, because the only rule about the around the world trip is you have to travel clockwise. So I basically planned out every single trip, and I only went places where I knew people. So that's why I didn't have a hotel, because you said, I know you would have a hotel wherever you go.
Wow.
Not in my 20s.
Wow.
But that's a lie, because it was the wrong city. So the truth is, I did get married in a drive-thru.
You did?
And the pastor's name was Dr. Love.
What in the whole hell? What did your mama say?
Ooh, we ain't gonna talk about that.
I'm about to say.
Nobody knew it was like a runaway bride type thing. Like, you want to get married? Okay, we young and dumb. Let's just go do it. And we did it. Yeah,
you
we
were
were together
a rebel.
for 4 years. I was a rebel. Yes, it was a lesson. And then I don't have a street named after my family in Oakland, but we do in Nashville, Tennessee.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yes, where my family's from.
Okay, so we might tap into that, but I assume that's like your grandfather?
What's your...
No? Okay. Oh, what's mine?
2 truths and a lie before
All right.
you
All right.
start
Before I try to
jumping in.
escape.
Yes.
Let me see. Okay, so I once got a speeding ticket, or got out of a speeding ticket for saying that there was a family emergency. And then the other one is that I crashed my mom's car while she was trying to teach me how to drive a stick, because that's what everybody drove back then.
Yes. Me too.
And then, you too?
Yeah,
Of
I didn't
course,
crash,
I should have known. I should have known.
Stick shift was the first car.
And then the other one is I almost died while hiking in Vegas.
Dang.
Parking ticket, crashed my mama's car, and almost died.
This is hard. I'm going to say parking ticket.
No, it did not work. I definitely tried that shit. But them Michigan troopers don't play. They don't play. They're like, oh, okay.
Man. Dang, that sounds like a good excuse. I was going to use it.
They're like, well, I hope everything okay. Hope you pay this on time.
They don't even care. No mercy.
No.
So you almost died?
I did.
I
I
was gonna
did.
say that next.
Hanging with some white people.
We got something in common.
Yes. I was hiking and like we started very early. It was like 6 a.m. But what she failed to really, really stress was that I needed to hydrate the day before. It's like 110 degrees.
A lot of miles in the hike.
Yes, girl. Started hallucinating, ran out of water. I saw all kinds. I saw like a bunch of scorpions. Like, I was like, did you see that? Oh my gosh. She's like, oh shit. We in trouble. Yeah, I ended up in the hospital.
Dang.
I passed out. I ended up in the hospital. And my man at the time was like, don't ever fucking do that shit again. Like, that's why you gotta stop hanging out with there was some white people shit.
That is so funny.
But it was fun, and it was a great experience, and I'm still very good friends to her to this day. And, you know, that was an experience. And then the other one, no, I did not crash my mama's car. I do want to learn how to drive a stick. No, she does. Yes, I would love to.
That's fun.
I think it's a lot of fun.
Yes.
Yeah, she does drive a stick, but she never taught me.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, when I learned, I'll teach you the first lesson right now.
Oh Lord.
When I went up, I never knew how to, you have to downshift to go up. And I thought it was when I was going up a hill, and I thought it was the faster you go, the more you go up the hill. So I was stuck on a hill all night. I couldn't pick up a friend one night because I was like, here we go.
Oh my gosh.
Damn. So that'll be my first lesson for you.
Okay. Oh my gosh.
Lesson learned, most extreme, 2 lies and the truth.
Yeah.
The most extreme is always the truth.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's get into what you do, how you do, when you started. Okay. Like, because that's amazing. So what made you even, let's take it a step back. What made you even get into real estate?
Well, yeah, I'll definitely introduce who I am. Erica Lady Builder Alexis, owner and founder of Bridgeline Development and Construction. We are 100% woman-owned development and construction firm in Los Angeles. We believe in bringing our clients' visions to reality. And the way that we do that is design, develop, build. That's our model. We have engineers on our team. We have architects on our team. We also have lenders so we can, facilitate through the whole entire development process. And I started the construction industry, I would say in 2015. I started in real estate in 2002. Okay. And like I said before, UCLA. For my undergrad, for my postgraduate, did USC. For my real estate development, go Bruins, go Trojans, no hate. All my friends are probably laughing right now. But yeah, I love my city. And yeah, it's been a journey. But yeah, I'm a licensed B contractor. So.
Okay, so take me through it. So you pretty much find people who want to build in a certain area or a certain space, and then you say, hey, I got the designs for you. Let me paint the picture vividly for you. And then on top of that, I can also manage the construction crew, see it all the way through to where the key opens the door.
All right, so I'm going to take you through the process of Bridgeline. Okay. let's be clear. I am not a designer.
Okay.
So I will not be helping pick colors and specifications at all.
You hire out for that.
I am passionate about building, me personally. My team designs, yes. So we have designers on the team that love what they do a great job at it. Everybody in their strengths. That is not mine because I'm a woman in the industry. They say, what do you think about this color? I'm like, that is up to you. I'm just going to build it. Make the dream a reality. That's my job.
Yeah.
So yes, we do have the capacity. We get introduced to the client. Word of mouth usually is our main form of advertising. They come to us. We, bring their vision to reality by everything all the way up to the permitting process. I like to be involved. Because I could bring the constructability aspects, right? No, we can't build that. Oh, if we do that, it has to be at this dimensions, bring the code perspective, things like that. I advise everybody to bring a contractor in the beginning of design phase.
Okay.
Usually they do it with the architects, and what we find is there's either a lot of potential change orders, which means they changed the price because there were things that were not taken into advantage, or they end up changing their mind, which leads to further costs, or some things aren't possible. Hey, you're having clashes here, in the attic. You're not thinking of that because you're just looking at how the building is going to function. So that's one benefit that we have, is that we take you from the full design process. After we advise during the design process, I go and take the baton and pick it up and pick up the permit and start the building process.
Okay.
So I'm a general contractor. I started, the key thing that got me started is I've been with my same core team since 2015.
Wow.
So I started with a mentor, and my mentor brought me, I brought myself to my mentor. And I took my first job. I just said, hey, I'll work for you for free,
No, we're not going to ice over that, because you told me a little bit about that. And that's good, y'all. Y'all got to hear it. So that ties into how you got started.
How I got started. Sorry, yes, you did ask that. Okay, so in construction, how I got started in construction is I quit my day job. I was top performer as a hotel revenue manager.
Wow.
And 2 alpha females just did not blend.
Wow.
And I quit with no plan. And I was sitting on my couch, and I was like, what am I going to do? And all the panicking started coming. And I heard hammers outside. And I walked outside, and I was like, you know what? I always want to be a car mechanic or a contractor. I think I'm going to go and see what it does. And I walked over and introduced myself to now one of my mentors. And I said, can I work for you for free? And he said, huh?
Wow.
He couldn't believe it. He said, okay. And then I started working so hard that he started paying me $100 a day. And that's how I started in construction. So I actually started doing the labor. A lot of people think, oh, woman-owned business, that means 51% by a woman and 49% by a man. No, 100%. Started with that, developed relationships with the team. My mentors, they retired, and I took over the same team, and so I know how everybody works.
Wow.
So those are my core 5, right? So I have a core 5 where we do in-house construction, and they're skilled in every level to take you, I would say, from all the elements to a residential project, from foundation to finishes. And then for my commercial deals, I have great relationships with my subcontractors.
Okay.
But I keep my core 5 because there are scope gaps and there are things that, may delay times and stuff like that. So it's good to have both dynamics. But it's another thing to have employees. But yes, so that's how I got started.
Is the core 5, does that consist of like a realtor? Like, what does that consist of?
The core 5 is pure construction. So
okay.
I have a foreman, and I have, 2, well, like I said, I'll say what they specialize in, but they're good in all areas. So I have a foreman, I have 2 finishers, and I have 2 framers. But within that, I have 2 framers that can do plumbing and electrical. I have,
wow.
a framer that can do foundation and finishes. So they have an array of things that they can do, and that helps us take the project from start to finish. Which is also why when I started, I knew my timelines, and I was also cost effective because usually, when you sub in and out, especially in residential, it's hard to be competitive. So I had that challenge.
Wow.
Knowing early on that I wanted to grow into commercial, I was like, okay, how am I going to, get something on the balance sheet? I just can't start in commercial. So how do I start going, oh, we know how to build houses. Oh, we know how to do them really well.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll start there, right?
Yeah.
So with that, we started gradually moving into the commercial sector,
Gotcha.
remodeling, multifamily to new construction, things like that. So
wow.
my core team has been holding me down for a long time. We've adopted new members since then, but a lot of clients like to know, like, with the high turnover it is in construction, that says a lot, about your company, that you have long-term relationships. So I really value not only long-term relationships on the construction side, but the client side.
Absolutely.
It's not going to be the first deal we do.
So those are all female?
Heck no, I wish.
Okay, because you said all female. I'm like,
100% woman-owned means me. Owned
woman
and operated by a woman.
Big difference.
Yes.
Big difference.
I've had women on my team. I still have women on my team. I have one, she specializes in concrete. One woman, she's African-American woman. Love her. She pushes harder than the guys. And she makes sure that they stay on point. So I really like her. I have a operations manager that is in training to be a project manager. And she is super dedicated into the details, like, hey, and great support to the guys. So, and then when I partner for leverage on deals. I partner with other lady builders in the city.
Wow.
So, yeah.
So then, okay, take me to your first deal.
To my first deal?
Your first deal. We're going to go there.
Ooh.
Because,
let's see, what was my first deal?
Oh, Lord, it's been that many, huh? You out here rocking and rolling.
First deal.
Shaking and baking.
I'm like, my first deal by myself.
Yeah, I want to know your first deal because people usually skip over and just go to the glitz and glam, right? Like, oh yeah, I got a 200 unit now.
How I started.
So it's like, what made you even, like, how'd you get your first deal? Would you go contact? Did you have to go to meetups all the time? Because that's one of the advice that I get now is to always go to these meetups. And
so that's a difficult question, and I'll tell you why.
Okay.
There's different types of deals, especially, like I said, developer builder. So my first deal in acquisitions was an Airbnb.
Okay.
My first deal in construction was a full house renovation, 600 square feet addition, and everybody told me to start with a kitchen or bathroom. And then my first development deal on my own is a 12-unit townhouse development. Wow. So the deal structure is how I got to the first. So I think more importantly would be I think my, let's see, you said how I got involved.
All right, so let me ask this then. With acquisition, that just means you acquired the Airbnb and you managed it?
Developed and managed it. I made it an Airbnb. So what I did was, that was my first deal 100% by myself. So I went and it was actually somebody on my team that brought me the deal. It was probably the last time you'll ever buy a property in Los Angeles under $400,000. Let's just be honest. And I thought it was expensive. I was like, can we go to 365? And he was like, it is valuable. Take the deal. Take the deal. So I closed at 395. We're not talking about the values today, but young hustler of myself. I said, I can't pay this mortgage by myself back then, right? So developer and me, I said, all right, I'm going to build out the back unit, which we now call ADUs, accessible dwelling units, and I'm going to rent out the front. It's a 2-bedroom, 1-bath, ADU. I had my background in hotel revenue management. I set the average daily rates.
Wow.
And it has been profitable ever since. It was definitely my means to my first acquisition, getting into development, and then after that, I just went into house flipping. I was like, okay, hold on. This is a thing.
Hold on. You didn't done a lot. So then the second thing that you did was you acquired not the 12 unit. What was it?
A house. Oh,
a house.
Yes, I acquired a house. So it was my first company purchase. So I purchased it in the company name.
Okay.
We raised funds. I did this with a partner. We raised funds for acquisition.
How much was it?
Investor. It was 800. Oh, I'm sorry. What did we buy for? We bought at 600,000.
Where?
Jefferson Park.
This woman. Okay.
Jefferson Park. And that was a really fun deal because it was in a historic zone and it was a why am I going blank? It's a craftsman craftsman style home.
Wow.
So we had strict rules where we can only, you have to paint a certain color. You couldn't change the gates, all that kind of stuff. But we wanted to, preserve it in its natural state. So we raised the acquisition funding. The acquisition funding, we were able to buy the deal full cash. $600,000 came in. Investor was like, here.
So it was just you and a partner?
It was me and a partner. And the partner was responsible for raising the acquisition funding.
Okay. So he did the syndication.
Correct. He did the syndication.
You managed it through.
Yes.
Gotcha.
And then we purchased it in Bridgeline Development.
Wow.
Right? And then I raised the construction funding. So I went to friends and family, and I just said, who wants to be a part of this deal? And I got 2 investors at $60,000, so we had a $120K budget.
Wow.
We listed at $950, and I'm sorry, we listed at $925, and we sold at $950. And I was like, that's all we got to do? And we did it in 3 months. And it was listed on the market for 7 days. We closed escrow. It was a 30-day escrow. So our investors were very happy. Very happy.
All right. So let me break down real quick. So you bought it for $600.
Yep.
You sold it for $925.
Yep.
$325 profit.
Yep.
Between
me and one other person. Yeah.
Okay.
So that was the first development deal.
Your business
in my
name.
business name, 100%. That was exciting because I learned the lesson early on. They said if you have 3 successful projects, right, under your business corporation, then you have the ability to qualify for more investors. And so that was the whole reason. I was like, okay, because I was doing it all the time, developer-builder partnerships. But I was like, I got to start putting some of these in my name. So I got into like creative structuring, and the deal. And I went to my friend. I was like, how can we do this? And they were like, well, and then we structured the deal. I was like, okay, so all I got to do is go raise some money to do the construction. Okay, let's do it. So you don't, like people say, you don't have to have a lot of money to get started. You just got to know people.
You just got to know people.
You just got to know people.
That's true.
So it's very exciting.
Wow. Yeah, that's what I'm learning right now. Like, and you even told me this. It's not about the money. It's not always about the money. It's about your influence. It's about people trusting you.
Your impact, yes.
And your impact. So, yeah.
How'd you get your first deal? Tables turned.
All right, so my first deal was a 4-plex in Tucson. We were tapping into that earlier. And like I said, I had gone out there because I wanted more time. I wanted my time back, right? And basically Googled, what do rich people do? First thing, second thing that popped up was real estate.
Yes.
I'm like, all right, how do I learn about real estate, Google?
Yes.
Bigger pockets. Okay. Hours and hours and hours. And
fan of Bigger Pockets. Shout out to Bigger Pockets.
Shout out to Bigger Pockets that
started us on our journeys.
Yes. So just, becoming a student of that, and then prayed for, guidance at the time I was going to Tucson, Arizona a lot for my job, like every 3 weeks. And one day just heard the vision. Felt the vision.
I've been there.
And it was like, oh, you can operate here.
Yeah.
You can own this place. You can run it.
This whole town.
I can run it. And so I was like, all right, so get back to my hotel. Prayed again for the best realtor, put my information in one of the, regular Redfin sites, and was flooded with all kinds of calls.
Sounds like real estate agents doing their job.
I was like, oh, Lord. So I just went with the best one, and we've been rocking ever since. So my first deal was the 4-plex.
Very nice.
That I closed on a week before COVID.
Wow.
Which today I'd bring in like $25K a month.
Woo! Give me some.
$25K a month, baby. Okay. So I'm like,
real estate is where it's at. Keeping the real estate up in here.
I was like, hold on, this all I gotta do?
Repeat. Rinse and repeat.
But it takes a lot of mental preparation.
Ooh, girl,
because the down payment I needed was $60K.
And that's not in everybody's back pocket.
And it's not. It's not. But a lot of people don't even realize the access they do have to it. Like, I had 401k that I didn't even realize I could tap into.
Leverage.
I used that for my next deal.
Yes.
I was like, oh, wait, I could do that?
Yes.
Bet. So this one I had saved up. I saved up like $30K. And then
Very nice.
my daughter's father had given her money through, well, he didn't, but the state had awarded her some money. So I was like, sorry about it, but I'll get it back later. I promise by the time you're 18, I'll double this shit for you. I promise. Trust your mama. Just trust me. But I need this, baby. Thank you. So I used a
creative deal structure.
Man, I had to.
Creative deal structure, making the deal happen.
I had to.
That's amazing.
That's how I got it. She is a part owner and doesn't even know yet.
Talk about it. Legacy pieces here.
So that's how I got my first one. And then, just...
It'll probably be paid off by the time she's 18.
Oh, probably.
Easy cash flow for the college fund.
Girl.
Let's talk about it.
Yes. Okay.
That's exciting.
But I'll never let her know because she'll take that to her head.
Yeah,
She'll be like...
That's something you tell her at like 25 or 30 after she's been through a few bumps and be like, you struggling? I got some news for you.
Here you go, baby.
Walk over to this drawer with me. I need a D. I need to show you a D. Now take this to the next level.
Absolutely. So,
that's amazing.
That's how I got the first one.
Yeah. Then after that, it just repeats.
It gets easier.
Mindset. But I'll say it gets easier and then it gets harder and then it gets easier.
But you know why? It gets harder? Because our dreams are bigger.
That's true.
That's the only reason I'm like...
We stretching a little bit. I do ask for a little bit of big stuff.
A lot of big stuff. I'm like... Oh, but God, if you could just let me close on this 168 unit, I'll be happy.
168 unit? Yeah, we're going from 4 to 168. Why not? Let's go.
Why not? You told me to dream big. This ain't big. Or is it not big enough?
Exactly.
What you telling me?
All right, fine. I'm going to fall in the clouds at 100 units. That's cool.
Right. I'm like, I see other people with jets. I want one.
Exactly.
Let me just
try it out.
I'll give it
Let
back.
me have enough to try. Exactly. So you said that your daughter was your inspiration.
Oh, absolutely.
That was powerful.
Absolutely, because my time with her, you'll never get that time back.
Yeah. Many people don't think about that.
She's 10 going on 15.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I just look back, like sometimes my phone will remind me, like, oh, look back memories. And I'm like, oh.
Yep.
She'll never let me, take a picture with her like that again.
Yeah.
Or so all those memories and all that time. And then, like I said, I remember my mom, like, she had to work, just like a lot of our parents did. They didn't know. They believed in the 401k dream. They believed in the retirement and the working diligently every day.
The 401k until you die.
Until you die.
Not knowing that you can use it now.
Right.
And put it back.
And then they penalize you. I was like, oh, my Lord,
Yeah, the penalties are crazy.
So
been there.
I know. I had to. So I do have a 401k because I still have a 9 to 5. Which we can talk about that because that is a struggle.
Yes.
That is a struggle.
I just left my 9 to 5 in last January 2023.
Congratulations.
Thank you. It was tough. But you talk about before? Oh, girl. Schedule. 5 a.m.
Yeah.
Going to work.
Yeah.
In the construction industry, of course, you got to be there early, right? To 5 p.m.
Wow.
Okay? Because project management days are strong. Still got to get, clients for the business who's doing business development. So 6 to 8, I got client meetings. But I'm living in Long Beach, and I got to travel to L.A. Traffic, right?
Wow.
So I'm getting home maybe about 10 o'clock at night. Oh, they said yes, they signed. Who has to do the estimates? Oh, okay. Add 3 more hours. Oh, yeah, I got to go to sleep and do it again. That, telling you, for about 2 years, I was like, I don't know. And my company started growing really, really fast to the point to where I had to take a leave of absence. I was like, yeah, family needs attention. I got to take a leave of absence. And that was to carry out my first, like I said, $400,000 deal. Just out the gates, okay, you guys need me here.
Yeah.
Like, especially for a foundation, So, yeah, it's working a 9 to 5, but I always influence people to never leave before it is time. Because people are like, oh, I'm gonna just go to the job and then do my real thing, and then they take off too soon. And so I fought tooth and nail till my savings are right. I fought tooth and nail until I was vested. It was an employee-owned company.
Okay.
I, fought tooth and nail until I could really see myself, paying for my own health insurance, taking care of myself, like making sure that I was straight before I did that jump. And then there's some times where it's like, okay, I'm not quite ready, but I just got to go because the opportunities are going to make sure that I'm taken care of. But yeah, how was your experience, would you say? Like how is your experience
currently
trying to balance? Because that's a lot. Like I said, hours, time management, and you have a family.
And who don't give a shit. I mean, they do. My husband understands, but my daughter is like, okay, but mom,
it's about me.
I want to go to my friend's house. Like, why can't you take me? Or you know what I mean? Or why can't I do this? Or why can't So it's a juggle, but I'm learning that it's a part of the journey. Yeah. And it's actually a blessing because it makes me tough. Yeah. It makes me learn how to really juggle. It teaches me how to prioritize. And a lot of that stuff can take you under. I'm learning. Before, I used to be so concerned that I didn't get back to a friend within 2 hours. It's been 3 days. I'm sorry, G. Wayne. It's probably been a week. I am so sorry.
I'm getting to
You know what I mean? And I'm like, dude, I'm just like busy.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And it's no
crazy.
disrespect, but
it's not intentional. I try to tell my friends that all the time. It is not intentional.
It's not intentional.
It's just a lot.
It's nonstop. And then it's meeting after another meeting for different hats.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Yep. Like even a call with my daughter, I consider it a meeting.
Family meeting.
Okay, it's 5:05. Let me call her before she goes into tennis to make sure she's good, mentally good, check her day, show her I'm here and I care. Okay, 6 o'clock, I got to jump on a call with my business partner. That's a 2-hour call.
Yep. Sometimes it goes over because you haven't resolved everything.
Way over because we vent first. And then it's like, okay, but we still in this. We still in it. What we doing? Okay.
Yes.
And then it's always something, I find myself trying to go to bed by 12, but it's 1 because I didn't taken some pre-workout that I thought I was going to get a workout in. Now I'm up. Now I'm just up.
Where am I?
Now I'm just up.
You know what's key though, because I think we've had similar struggles with you having a 9-to-5. That W-2 struggle is real.
Yeah.
And I think business owners, entrepreneurs, developers, real estate investors, all the like.
Yeah.
What is key is remembering our why, remembering why we got started, remembering what we do it for, because you're briefly talking about a schedule, but we're not even talking about the struggles in the deal. We're not even talking about the people that don't do what they're supposed to do. We're not talking about the extra work that you have to pick up. We're not talking about the sleepless nights because you have deadlines or you lose a deal, right?
Yeah.
So it's all those things, and it's a lot of mental anguish. It's a lot of mental growth, expansion. It's kind of like we're coming out of a cocoon, right? And it's like, but I don't want to. I want to just it could be simple things. I want to stay here and cuddle. I want to, sit with my daughter longer. I want to do this. I want to do that. But remembering the long-term play, right? Why are we doing this? Why did we get started?
Yes.
I want my daughter to have a better life, than I did. That is the fuel that carries us through those moments. And I mean, man or woman in this industry, you get sucker punched like crazy. Yeah. With shocks you didn't think. Like I know you've talked about it, a little bit of the maintenance issues. Maintenance issues, people stealing from you. Like it's so many things that happen in business, and it's just like you have to remember who you are, and you have to remember why you do it. Yeah. So when you mentioned family, I definitely can relate to that.
What's some of your experiences with getting punched in the stomach?
Ooh, girl. Ooh, girl. Ugh. How many you want? So, keeping it real estate. The biggest challenge, I think, in the first 5 years of anyone's business is cash flow. And a lot of people don't talk about it. And I've talked to my dentist, I've talked to my friends in entertainment, I've talked to my friends that personally train, all the industries, right?
Yeah.
Anybody that has employees, cash flow.
Yes.
I can go anywhere from carrying a cash flow weekly from $7,000 to $20,000 in a week. And who's responsible for that, right? So there's a lot of sucker punches that come with that because you not only are responsible for yourself, but you have livelihoods of others. Yeah. And these people take care of you, so you have to take care of them, right? So that you become a different person. But there's a lot of punches when it's Monday and you got to figure out oh shoot, we went, you know, we thought it was this in the budget, which happens, right? And we went over, okay, how do we maneuver? You know, so that's something that I would definitely like to be talked about with business owners more is how do you mitigate cash flow?
So is it not like getting a proper like contingency plan? Like what?
It's a lot of things. It's a lot of things. The biggest thing that I've realized is managing multiple projects at one time. When I did one project at a time, cash flow was good. I was like, you pay me this, I pay these people this. Yes. And I think this is the beginner struggle, right? This is the beginner struggle is, okay, I got 4 or 5 projects going, and this person is not paying on time. That person is delayed. That person's going through something, right? Having a heart in business will, you know, do it. I participated on a public works job, Clipper Stadium. They didn't pay me for 8 months. That's a large stake. And I did something unconventional. I covered, to keep my subs in business, I covered one of the subs' entire contract.
Wow.
So that automatically set me back a year. You know, like covering, okay, I don't want you to fail in business, so I'm going to cover you, right? And then that's a gut punch because guess what? Now you got other projects and you have to fund it to a certain amount until your progress payments. You cannot charge the client until that is done. You're still waiting on income over here. You're still waiting on some people that haven't even paid your last contract off. Figure it out, right?
Wow.
And then you have, if you don't have a good lending relationship, how am I going to figure it out? So the dynamics and the beauty of deciding not to quit, the dynamics of I'm going to succeed by any means necessary. I'm going to get this done by any means necessary. Thank you to my granddaddy. He ingrained that in me. But all of these things, it makes what I realized through all the gut punches. My mom, she said, you know, when I visit, she said, I just feel like I just see you wake up to take some punches. And then you go back to sleep and then you do it again. And I'm like, yeah, it gets like, and then you have your good times, right? But you always remember the times where you're like, oh, how am I going to make it through this? How am I going to make it through that? You know? And you always want to do a good job. You know, you have to do quality. So there's no shortcuts. It may be cheaper ways to do things, but it's like, I'm building a reputation. I'm building a brand. I'm a woman doing it. You know what I mean? So it's like, I don't want to come back on my warranty, right?
Wow.
So that, I would say cash flow is definitely an essential one. I would say, you just said one, time with loved ones. Time with loved ones is a gut punch. There's some things you want to do and some things you want to be. I mean, just recently, my family was like, can you go to the movies with us? No. The next day, can you go to dinner with us? It's this deal. You know, like, that's a gut punch because it's just like, oh, like, what are we, you know, and then you have to make the time, right? So that's what you're saying. Like,
because then at some point, like, do they feel like you made it? I don't understand. Like, you're doing great. Why can't you?
Exactly. And it's like, or like you have employees and it's like, you don't know the background of, you know what I mean? You have to get to a certain point until the business runs itself. So I would say that when employees don't show up, thank God I learned how to do construction because there's some things I have to jump in and do, right? When nobody shows up, there's been days on that. That's a gut punch. It's like, wait, our schedule is this. What do you mean you're all sick at the same time? You know, these are things that like you just can't plan. And it's just like, okay, you have to regroup. And there's certain days, I mean, I have this funny story with my mentor. We were cracking up over wine one day and it was she's responsible for building all the Targets in LA. Lady builder. Definitely shout out to her. And we talked about what we think about as builders and what happens. So this was a gut punch. I'm walking out to go on a date, and it's you know with a new gentleman that I was trying to pursue, and he you know I already had a work schedule, so it was already like, oh, we could go out next week. Oh, sorry, this came up. So I was like, I'm not missing this date for nothing. I'm going. So we were supposed to go out. It was like cute date, ice cream. On the way out the door.
It don't take much, guys.
It doesn't. I know the list, you know, that y'all talk about. Nope. Let's go back to coffees and ice cream. But anyway, so I'm walking outside. Life of a contractor. This is what I was sharing with my mentor. Starts to drizzle.
Oh, boy.
Most people would say, oh, I got to go get an umbrella. I said, I got an 8,700 retail space where we just started doing the roof. This was not in the weather report. I got to go cover a roof. Right? So imagine, I was like, I'm not faking on our date, but I gotta go do something real quick. I'll be right back, right?
Wow.
So it's like late at night. I'm, asking my friends in the city. I'm like, is it raining over there? And they're like, it's drizzling. I'm like, I'm on my way. We drive. I get two of my friends because my employees are not answering the phone. We get a 25-foot ladder. I got to climb up. Okay, this is a Friday night. I was cute. I had to change into my heart.
Oh, my gosh.
And I had to cover the roof. And I successfully covered the roof. One of my friends got stuck on the roof, got anxiety, couldn't get down.
Don't call the fire department.
We called the fire department.
God.
That date did not happen, ladies and gentlemen. And I was like, and he never called me again. I was like, I am so sorry. I told this story to my lady builder mentor. She said, oh, that's so funny. I remember when that happened to me at a Target. She said it was the same thing, weather report. We had a whole open roof. She said, but the problem was, she said, is if I didn't get the whole store that was drowned in water cleared out by 7 a.m. when they opened and I got the call at 11 p.m., you have, I forgot what she called it. She was like, you have to pay the loss of sales.
Oh.
On a Target.
Snap.
On a 2-story Target.
Millions.
And I said, and she said, so at 11 o'clock, you waking up in the middle of the night, gut punch.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we got to figure this out.
Yeah. Like
so
what? And then how do you cover that? That's huge.
That's why you don't do it. Just playing. No. Yeah, that's why. And that's why you have to jump, for the solutions, right?
Wow.
So it's a lot of gut. You said how many gut punches? I have a few, but that's some good
And that's
ones.
on a bigger, that's a big one. Wow.
Because can you imagine? I mean, all my drywall would be ruined, all my flooring,
start
everything.
over.
And I'm talking about, you're probably talking about, it was probably a 10 by 10 opening.
Wow.
So the plywood was crazy. I was like, okay, we got some plywood over there. Let's pull it. Ooh, the crazy things you'll do.
That's awesome, though. That pays off, though.
Yeah.
And I'm sure the clients are incredibly happy that.
That you have somebody devoted. Because, I mean, a contractor could just say, it was unforeseen.
Unforeseen.
Change order.
Change
I'm
order.
going to get you for it. Nah, it's like I look at every property like it's my own. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
And that's what's going to keep you getting the deals coming.
Yeah, definitely.
People trust you and believe in you.
Definitely.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So you said earlier that you primarily work with family. Did you say that?
No, you asked if I've ever worked with family, and yeah, my team member, she laughed. So it's an interesting dynamic. So my family is very special. My last name, my family's last name is Dennis.
Okay.
And we have a Dennis legacy, like I said, street named in Tennessee.
Nice.
My great grandfather was the first builder in my family.
Wow.
Then my grandfather, he was a builder.
Wow.
Much respect.
That's so it's naturally in you.
Yeah, it's in my bloodline for sure. And she, my mother is an entrepreneur at heart, and he wanted a boy so bad that he named her Joe. So she kind of grew up in the trades too. So she has project management experience. My grandfather built apartment buildings, all, you name it.
Wow.
So she has project management experience, all that, like oversee, in the construction industry. So I was kind of blessed with that. My brother is actually my material handler.
Wow.
So that's cool. Somebody you could trust with the corporate credit card.
Yeah, right?
And we just grew up as a family. We grew up as a family that took care of each other. Mm-hmm. I think, our two creeds is love and life, lifelong wealth.
Yeah.
So I really, it kind of organically happened. It was this is what she's doing. She's actually taking the baton from, our grandfather, picking up the weight. I'm just going to jump in and help. That's how it started. It didn't even start on payroll. It was just, of course we got your back, right? And then eventually it was like, this is all we do, so now you got to pay us, right?
Wow.
But the way that we deal with each other, the way that we maneuver through the hard times, through the good times, right, is really beautiful to see. I think I'm the first corporate job of my brother, and he's like, I'm never going to work for anybody else, and just to see the dedication right? And one thing that I just recently, probably about a week ago, realized was I didn't know that we could be influential as a family, like our tight-knit and our tight bond to my employees. They see the loyalty. They see how we have each other's back. They see how we stand up for each other, and they see how we take care of each other. And it's kind of helped me ingrain a family dynamic within them because they start to see, hey, this is just who you are. You take care of me, I take care of you. It's very simple.
That's amazing.
And they see the guys that come in and they're just there for a check. They don't last long because it's hey, we're in this together, and they take pride in their work, you know? And I think that it's just a really good thing to see that me and my brother are able to coexist in a space. We've never gotten into an argument.
Wow.
We've been siblings for my whole life.
Are you guys close in age?
No, we are 9 years apart.
Okay. Wow.
And I'm younger, but he calls me big little sister because
you're the boss.
Yeah, and everybody thinks he's younger than me, and it irritates me. And then they try to clean it up, and they say, "Oh no, it's just because you have an old soul." And
I can feel your energy.
I'm like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
They're like, you're you're this and that. And I'm like, whatever. So he gets it all the time. I'm like, you got the pretty eyelashes, the pretty feet. Now everybody think you look younger. I can't stand it. I can't stand it. The long hair. I can't stand it. Anyway, sorry. Let me not get personal on this podcast. But it's been a blessing. My mother, she comes up when times get hard. When it's too much to manage, she'll come in and just be in the background. You know, she'll pop up on a site, check in with the guys, see what they have. She may run and get materials.
Really?
Yeah, she just jumps in. She doesn't have to ask me. She already knows construction. She's just like, okay, don't worry, I took care of the guys here. Don't worry, I made sure of this. Just make sure tomorrow we got this set up. Da 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 da.
Wow.
So it's just like she's like, if you need me, call me. So I've just been really blessed to have that. I have good friends, you know.
Yeah.
So and I think that comes from the creed of my family.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's
so did you have to do any like molding for your family or any like preparing like mentally to get them on board, to see the vision, to understand, you know, what's needed? Or do they naturally have the builder, you know, developer, bloodline, and all that? Like,
it's an interesting thing. So we have a unique story. I think it's more of a duty, obligation, and responsibility. And I think it's to the family. I don't think it's to me.
Okay.
I'm just spearheading it. I've created the vehicle for us to execute. I grew up in the Bay Area. My grandfather was never licensed, but he grew so fast. He came to California on a dream from Nashville, Tennessee.
Wow.
And he said he would give my grandmother a better life. He started with driveways. He was a concrete mason. He started with driveways. And then he built from houses to recreational centers to grocery store docks until he built a 17-unit apartment building on his own.
Wow.
Imagine racism, 1950s.
Oh, my gosh.
Imagine no license. Imagine word of mouth reputation, right? He couldn't pass the exam because he wasn't good in math. He had an 8th grade education.
Wow.
And he built a legacy. He built a legacy that I was able to benefit from. He built a legacy where, you know, getting teary-eyed thinking about it.
That's amazing.
Where he suffered an aneurysm around the time I was born.
Oh, wow.
And he was paralyzed from the waist down. And we built a bond, I think, because he was brought down to my level, right? You know, if I'm crawling, he's right there with me.
Yeah.
But we built an unforgettable bond that was so close. And he would, like, play games with me, but they weren't regular games, right? He would play games with me, like, business owners store and Legos and stuff like that. Like, okay, so what's your inventory storage like in the kitchen? And we playing like he's coming to buy from the store. You know, so it's always business minded. My grandma, she was the accountant, you know, for the business, and I would be 7 or 9 years old and I'll be sitting in stock meetings. Wow. And if I said an opinion, she would be like, Erica said it, we going with it. You know, so it was just
They
like the
gave you the
empowerment
power, yes.
and reminded me of who I was and reminded me of what this
voice.
name was, right? So it was like the Dennis legacy. It was like my mother and my aunt, when they were raised, it was like Dennis sisters or somebody, you know, like you are somebody. So he built this legacy. And I mean, we had the best parties. Valet.
Wow.
You know, catered food. I'm not even going to talk about it. But it was really, really nice. My grandma, you know, was able to buy her dream home eventually, you know, by the time I was born. And it was just beautiful.
And this was all in Oakland.
This was all in Oakland.
And that's not an easy city.
It's not an easy city.
That's pretty expensive, too.
It is, yes. And we had my childhood house in Berkeley, me and my mother, and my grandparents lived in Oakland. And Yay area. But yeah, so he built that, and I didn't know anything, right? I just knew I loved this man. So after he passed away when I was 13, I started to ask questions.
Wow.
He built a nonprofit, Men of Tomorrow, where he took men off the street. He built a organization where he was like, if you come work for me, you're going to have to, and you're a young, you know, black man, you have to go to college or you got to go to the military, but you can't hang out on these streets, and I'll give you cash every day. So he just influenced so many people. I had the opportunity in my teens and my college years to talk to the employees of his company and how he impacted them. And it just made me fall more in love with him. And I said, well, what happened? And, you know, like, and, you know, with the accident, they were like, oh, it had to stop and things like that. So an opportunity came. We grew up really well, I would say upper middle class in Berkeley. And opportunity came to where my mother said, we have the opportunity to invest in Arizona. Tucson. I invested there too.
Wow.
She said, we have the opportunity to invest in Arizona, and I want you to become a homeowner. She said that's how, you know, Granddaddy did it. He started off flipping homes, and then he built, you know, apartment buildings. I said, I want to follow exactly in his footsteps. He's just amazing. And when she, we started out, I bought 2 homes. Wow. The whole family, all collectively, we bought 7. Nice. And I was like, family, we about to take it up. We about to go, you know. 2008 market crash, my family lost everything. So we easily went from $3 million in the bank to $30,000 in months. To see that as fast as I did, to see that as extreme as I did, to hear the sheriffs knocking at the door, to see my mom come home from failed court attempts of saving the house, and to know what my grandfather went through to get it to that level, and for him to, the last thing that he said before he died is, at least my family's financially secure, and for us to be losing everything.
Oh, no.
Ooh, you talk about a vengeance and a fire lit in this young lady.
I know.
So I went out on the balcony of our beautiful view of the whole bay, and I was like, this will not be the last time. My grandfather did not end his legacy right here. And it stung a little bit. You talk about gut punches. It came back with a below 500 credit score because both those houses went into foreclosure because it was stated income documents. The tenants ruined the house. It was expenses I couldn't overturn. Furniture was crazy. It was crazy. I was like, what is going on? Like, my life spiraled so fast. But it was every African American, right? Everybody lost something then. It was the decline of the middle class of blacks. And we really got hit hard. And so coming from that, and then 7 years later, you know, me kind of building back on my own with nothing, you know, seeing my mom back then on, you know, couches of her friends, my brother on couches, you know, because we had to get out the house, right? It was just like, I think we all have a vested interest. So it's kind of like, to go back to your question, if you are creating this vehicle where we can do this again, and this can honor where we came from, of course I'm going to participate. So you talk about mindset, I think we have more than that. It's more of a core feeling of we have to return back to who we were and what we were given and what he instilled in us, right? And I think, you know, that's been my why. And it's been because it's like, I always challenge myself when it gets hard and say cash flow's a problem, or, you know, employees are a problem, or, you know, deals are a problem, or whatever the problems are. I say, but he had an 8th grade education and you were college educated. But he was dealing with racism, and you have all of the opportunities that white people have now, right? But he didn't have a general contractor's license, and you do. So what is your excuse?
I agree. We would be doing our ancestors a huge disservice.
What is your excuse?
Huge. Yep.
We don't have one.
No.
Figure it out. There's no mercy, right? And I think that's why in the hardest of times, my brother, he'll see it and he'll be like, all right, I know what I got to do. You know what you got to do. It's showtime, you know? And it's just kind of like we remember where we came from. And that is what really fuels us is, do you know your family name? Do you know what you come from? You know? Right. And it's a beautiful legacy, you know, to have a street name.
Absolutely.
It's like, you got to do something.
Absolutely.
And I just happen to be a woman, but I'm taking up my family baton and being like, nah, we're not going out like this. Nah.
That's amazing.
So yeah, they jump on the board. You know, we have family calls. Official family calls, and we talk about everything, and we talk about our vision.
Start taking the meetings in the Bahamas. Okay, you know what I mean. Start taking the meetings.
Yeah. So I think they understand the mindset and they understand the assignment.
They understand the assignment. I love it. But I was gonna say, like, when the cash flow is low, like who takes the hit? You got to take the hit first.
First.
I mean, like.
I take the whole hit. I'm like, what? First, but we always find a way, you know, and that's what we do. But yeah, when I've had to take a cash flow hit, yes, and I've learned a lot through business. I learned that it's more common than you think.
Yeah.
And that's what makes me feel normal. I'm reading a book right now. It's the Contractor's Blueprint to Profit. Okay. And I realized that, you know, until you reach a certain level. I believe it's 2 million. Once you really have that as, you know, income right now.
Have you ever had to let go of a family member? Like, have you ever had to fire a family member?
No.
Because, you know, we usually got them cousins that want to get in too, and it's like, oh, homie, hold on.
I don't think it's that like, oh, I want to jump in, I want to do this, I want to do that.
Okay.
I think that it's more so like, what was I gonna say? I think it's more so like, cause we're close, right?
Yeah.
So it's more so like I'd rather be doing nothing else. Like this is all I want to do.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
What's the best advice you could give, or that you've received? We'll start with that.
Okay. The best advice, I used to see a board in my math class, and I believe it was Albert Einstein. And it said, discomfort brings about change. And I live by that, and I know that when it's the most uncomfortable, that stuff is changing, and it's always been for the better. I've always reached new heights. So, yeah, the best advice I've ever gotten is, you know, feel the fear and do it anyway. If you're not uncomfortable, you're not changing, you're stagnant. And, you know, it really builds character into who you become. Yeah. And for you to be the next chapter, you have to grow through it.
Absolutely.
You know?
I know I tell my daughter that often. I'm like, hey, man, you could be scared all you want, but you strap it in the back seat. You put that thing in the back seat, tell it to buckle up and hold on, because you going.
Exactly.
We going.
Yeah.
So that's a good one. What's a good book that you, besides the one you just suggested?
Oh, yeah.
Is there another one?
Yeah, I would say Principles by Ray Dalio. Principles by Ray Dalio is definitely a good book as far as company culture.
Okay.
And company environment and what your legacy is.
Okay.
And it has some core principles that it goes by. And Ray Dalio is actually the reason I named my company Bridgeline.
Really?
Yeah, he's Bridgewater. Hedge fund. He was the most successful hedge fund in the States for over 25 years.
Wow.
Now he's an advisor and he gives back and he pours into all these books. And so I'm an avid reader of all his books.
Wow.
But Principles stood out because he really focuses on transparency. And he says the more transparent an employee is,
more trust.
the more the company grows because you have accountability and you face whatever challenge it is head on, right? And that makes you better in the moment and it expedites it. And there's a lot of people that he talks about that can't take it, you know, the transparency of owning up, you know. I could go through several examples, but what it did for me is it made me realize that I had to grow a brand that was authentic, and genuine, and people came as they were, and we improved from there. So just like a family, you know, you have your faults, and we go through things and all that. But the solutions, how do we get to the solutions? How do we overcome the challenges, and how do we grow? So yeah, that book definitely made a great influence.
Wow. And that's good just for anything. It's not necessarily construction or development or it's okay. I love that. I'm going to check that one out.
Yeah, it's not specific to the industry, but it's good for business.
So what's something you want to take a chance on? Girl, I know you over here. You got so many things brewing. Go ahead and tell me. I already know.
So something I want to take a chance on. I want to build hotels in Africa. Oh, Lord, yes. Yeah, that's...
Dream big.
Yeah, you just said that. So, I mean, why not?
Why not?
You go get your 136 unit, and I'm going to be the best vertical
168.
builder. 168, my bad. Sorry.
4 to 168.
There we go.
We going to get there.
There we go.
Tell me about that, because I know it's more to that one. I know it's more to that one, okay?
So, as a hotel revenue manager in my past, I used to read a lot of hotel articles. And, you know, back in that day, I started reading about how, you know, before Africa became what it is today, Africa's the next tourist attraction spot, you know, for the world. And in that time, we had, you know, big hotel chains like Marriott, IHGs, and they were going into Africa. And I was just like, what? I was like, this is a thing? And back then, nobody was going to Africa. They was going to Europe, you know, Australia, whatever. And so I was like, I want to be a part of this, right? And there was a statement, and I cannot pronounce her name, but it was an ambassador from Africa, and I still have the article, where she invited all of her, she said, I invite my African diaspora to come home and help us build Africa.
Wow.
Because she understood the challenge was the Chinese and Russians were investing in Africa, and what was happening is the Chinese marble was going in these hotels, and these architects were coming from everybody. Yeah, so it looked like the country, but it's in Africa, and you're not getting that African experience. No African architects, things like that. So I said, that's a problem that I want to solve.
Wow.
And I want to, you know, build it. And so I decided to, you know, journal. It was 2015, and I was like, I want to develop hotels in Africa. Wow. Like, if I'm going to, you know, shoot for the stars, that's my biggest vision, and I just left it. And over the years, you know, I have a journal that it's called a life journal, and I write down everything, and I read it all the time to remind me of where I'm going, who I am, and where I've been. And, you know, I was like, I got to start putting some steps to this. And so I said, okay, cool. I'm going to develop, I'm going to go to a developers conference. COVID happened. Couldn't get to the conference. Canceled.
Wow.
So, put that on the back burner. We went through COVID, whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
And then I happened to meet my current mentor now.
Okay.
And she's been building in Africa over 10 years.
Wow.
Has over 200 acres in each country of 5 countries. And she actually sent a text message asking for me to go to Africa Celebrate Summit, Business Summit, which I attended in November.
But hold on. You told me earlier that was a glitch.
It was a glitch.
But
it was a mistake. Okay, let me tell you about alignment since you want to talk about alignment.
I love that. We can't ignore God's alignments now.
She didn't invite me, guys.
Nope.
The truth is, her phone glitched, and in WhatsApp, it sent the invite to all the contacts in her phone.
Wow.
And so before I called her back, I had already booked my ticket. And I said, thank you, because I didn't know it was a glitch. So I was like, thank you for the invite. She said, what are you talking about? And I said, for the summit, I'm going to be there in November. And she said, I didn't send you that. She said, girl, WhatsApp did something with my phone and said all contacts, and that went out to all the contacts. So I'm on all this contacts with like ambassadors and the parliament and all these important people. And I'm just like, but I'm in there. And I'm like, well, should I cancel my ticket? She said, no, if you're coming. She says, you know, I'll just make you a part of the program. Wow. And I was like, talk about falling in alignment. So I got the opportunity to speak at the African Union, asked them my question, like, what are you doing, you know, to help support the African diaspora, to coming over here to help develop and build. I got an offer from her with what she's doing over there in agriculture to build the infrastructure and development over there. And I made numerous amount of contacts just by, you know, speaking in the African Union for future development for potential hotels. So I'm going to take a chance on it.
Amazing.
Thank you.
That's awesome. I mean, speaking into existence.
Yes, let's do it.
You got to write it down.
Yes.
That's amazing.
Yes. And look at it. Don't just set it and forget it.
Yeah. But hold on, too. That also reminded me when we were talking the other day. I know we can't talk too much about it. But you also just got one of the biggest deals in Inglewood.
Yes.
That's amazing. What is it, 12 unit?
It's 12 townhouses.
Okay.
And it's a full design build project. So, yeah.
All you.
All me. All Bridgeline. All Bridgeline.
That's, man.
Yeah, that's
the biggest
it on the
map. You're doing it. I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you. That's awesome.
Appreciate it.
So, I think that's all I got. I think that's all I mean, I could go on. I could really go on, but we got lives and we got meetings.
Yes, we do. And we got employees.
Right. So thank you.
Thank you for so having me.
And anytime you can come back on for an update for when you know, sign on the dotted line with Africa. Mm-hmm. And
I love it.
And you know, they put the key into the 12 townhouses in Inglewood. That's going to be amazing.
Thank you.
And I'm going to see you at your birthday.
Yes, you are. And I'm going to see you after you built this 168
Absolutely. Unit. And we're going to be in contact. I'm so excited.
All right. Thank you for having me.
All right. Peace out.